NASCAR, IndyCar, MotoGP, Super Formula, Super GT, and now the ISR AIC. Just a few of the recognised series from around the globe that race at the prestigious Twin Ring Motegi. And for the first time since Season 2 in Autopolis, we're very happy to be back in the land of the rising sun. It's the Japanese Grand Prix. Last time out it was Colin McAllister who took his first AIC victory in dramatic fashion. I'm here alongside Craig Evans for what looks like to be once again a fascinating Grand Prix. Craig, it's been a while. Season 2 DTM's Brands Hatch was the last time you commentated a race. Tell us how you're looking forward to it, and welcome back.
Hello Toby, hello everyone else at home. Yeah, it's great to be back. It has been a long time coming this. It's like you said, Season 2 Brands Hatch, it's been a while, and what a race to come back to. Twin Ring Motegi, fantastic circuit. As we saw in the lap guide and the socials leading up to this race, sure to be a good one. Plenty of places for overtakes to be done, and a couple of DRS zones as well, so it should be a good race.
Heading into qualifying then, Josh Martin takes his qualifying ban, as does Dougie Anderson from their incident in round 1. Callum Spencer struggles yet again, finishing P20 alongside second place Danny Diaz. Christopher Petterson lines up P18 and Philip Blum P17. Josh Wood for JR Woodone lines up alongside reigning champion Kevin Jacobs. Gareth Lennon improves slightly to line up alongside Craig McDonald for the new Macca Motorsport team. Valerio Campagnari P11 last time out, looks like he might be on to improve that today with a P12 start. Toby Byrne last week's dramatic exit from the race, P10 lines up alongside Tom McDonnell. Christian Vrazilov lines up alongside Ed Cantwell on the next row of the grid. Then it's Andrew Pavia, the man who came so close to the last round, and he's a long time, very fast debutant Olav Odford. James Underhill, of course, dramatic fashion at the end of the last race as well. He alongside Colin McAllister, and pole position Craig is Craig Evans, followed by Jonathan Carrera for what looks like another crazy race, but fantastic positioning for Colin McAllister and James Underhill. Second row last time out, win for Colin, but let's see what can happen this time around in Japan. It's been a long time coming. We are waiting for those 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go. Let's analyse those starts. Then Jonathan Guerrero looked like a pretty good start. Is he going to be able to do anything into turn 1? The tightening apex forces him out a little bit, and Craig Evans manages to hold that on the outside line then. So the Supersoft tyres paying dividends for Evans as the pursuit by Carrera begins. McAllister starting well as well in 3rd place. We can see Olav Odford already on the attack, trying to make a move on James Underhill. Unable to really do anything. Is he anything in the second corner? Gets bouncy all over the curbs, and that puts him under a little bit of pressure from Andrew Pavia coming into the next set of corners. Will there be anything shortcoming from the American? No, nothing doing. So pretty clean start all in all, but then again we said that last time in Sydney and had a massive pile-up. Toby Byrne struggling under pressure from his teammate immediately as Christian Vrazilov is behind his pair as well. Byrne concedes to place, but all in all, Craig, pretty good start, and we're off for round 2.
Yeah, it was the front anyway. There was a nice clean start from all drivers at the front. I did see a car turned around in the background. I'm sure we'll get a visual of that later on at some point. We'll figure out who it was. But yeah, it was all pretty clean at the front. There looked like a little bit of wheel spin from P1 and P3, but they seem to have got away cleanly. Carrero tried to make as much of a headway as he could into turn 1, but as you say, those super soft tyres in Evans' car seems to have just helped him keep that position and started to pull away a little bit. But Carrero's got to worry about McAllister now behind him, also on the super soft tyres, and feisty racer from round 1, so he's got to watch his mirrors.
Yeah, as Philip Blum gets team ready, are you okay? So we have our first DNF. That might be one of the cars you saw in the background, Craig. Blum is out after lap 1, a casualty. Colin McAllister very close to Jonathan Guerrero there. Was that a little bit of contact there? Colin will have to check for his front wing damage to make sure there was nothing attained from that. But that's just the difference of these super soft tyres this early on. Carrera's in a great position for the latter stages of the race, but right now he is under tremendous amounts of pressure. So DRS enabled after 1 lap as his real life as well. Colin closing in on Carrera, not too close to do anything this time around. And contact from behind. Underhill collects McAllister. McAllister goes spinning off. McAllister, is he beached? He's stuck in the gravel, and furious Craig from the Scotsman who won last time out.
Oh, completely understandable as well. I had no idea. Oh, there's another car there having a few more dramas in that corner. Yeah, that is massively unlucky for McAllister. We'd have to get another view of that, but it just looked like Underhill was not paying attention at all and just got way too close to him. And McAllister was on for a good result here. Super soft tyres, putting Carrero under pressure. Well, he's retired, we can see now at the top of the screen there, but he was on for a good strategy by the looks of things with some good pace, and he will be absolutely seething under that helmet. So we'll just have to see what happens in the replay Underhill might be getting sent to the steward's room, and as we see Marcus Townsend looking at making a move up the inside there as well.
Yeah, what a difference a week can make. Last week's race winner, his first ever victory one week, and a lap 1 DNF the next. Absolutely heartbreaking for the Scotsman. Meanwhile, the other Scotsman of Evans making a great position, as we can see. Razalov defending to the inside with DRS, but Byrne looking to make that move. He conceded that position on the opening lap. He's looking like he's trying to get it back on lap 3. It'll now be a side-by-side drag race under investigation. I imagine this is going to be McAllister and Underhill, but yes, Byrne looking to the outside. Is he able to go all the way around the outside? Same tyres for both as we head into the second DRS zone, and nothing doing. So Byrne has to concede that position, but he's back underneath the slipstream, pulls to the outside, as does his teammate in front as well. So Byrne looking to try and go all the way around the outside. This time goes a little bit deep, side by side on the exit. Great race. We've got another car spinning off in the background. It looked like one of the Macca Motorsport cars, Craig. A little bit of drama in the background. Let's see what's happening. And oh no, there's been another incident. Pretty big incident this time round, Craig.
A massive incident. We'll have to just take stock here and see what's happened. There was Anderson, Wood. Was it both Macca Motorsport cars there, or my eyes deceiving me? Craig McDonald's involved in that anyway, and it looks like that car is not going any further. As we can see, a message there from the engineer, stop the car. Campagnaro was the other car, not the other McDonald, so my mistake there. So it's all happening. Byrne didn't quite get his position that he was hoping for. His teammate though, on the other hand, Marcus, might be looking up the inside with too much curb there. And yeah, it's all kicking off. It's a shame though when we look back at McAllister and Underhill, the two championship protagonists so far, as Evans sits on the fastest lap. And as we were watching Toby Byrne, remember back to round 1, he could have been the third protagonist. He had probably arguably the most pace, as his teammate now is looking at the inside, same manoeuvre as his teammate the lap before, and it's just not working. The inside for that corner is not favouring any of these drivers. Don't know if it's just getting too much on the curb or what, but it's it's not looking good for them. It might just be the team set up themselves, what they've got the cars running, but at the moment there's not too many manoeuvres happening unless there's accidents.
Yep, early phases, everyone getting suited. Very close to being another one there as Townend locks up, and that actually puts him under a little bit of pressure from Christian Vrazalov, the Bulgarian debutant for Simstaff, looking to try and do something early on those super soft tyres. But we get some replays, Craig, so this will be James Underhill. You wanted to have another look at this. Let's see what happens, and he's a long way back, isn't he? So what happens here, and just missing that braking zone, it was a little lock up on the front right, and straight into the back of McAllister. Yeah,
it was just, I don't know, was he sleeping? Was he trying too hard? He was so far back, it definitely wasn't a manoeuvre. I think it was just a lack of concentrating there. And McAllister straight back across. I don't think he could have done anything about that. Odvin was so lucky to get away with it there. And we're on board with McDonald here. This will give us a good view as to what sort of shenanigans went on. There's a car ahead of him that's been tagged there, one of the Simstaff cars. Yeah, that was never going to end well. And poor Lennon's getting caught up there, and the other Edinburgh car is getting pushed up. Yeah, so yeah. There's a lot happening here as we see Philip Bloom off as well. It's a lovely shot, that one. Maybe not for him.
Yeah, we saw him go out on lap 1, didn't we, Blum? And I'm assuming he had some kind of damage, and as he just drives along the grass and parks it in the sand trap. But yeah, it looks like, again, the McDonald's incident, looks like one McDonald got tagged and the other one got caught up in the incident, so not a lot of brotherly love happening there. At least one Macca car still standing at this phase of the Grand Prix then. So Evans leads, 1.5 seconds to Carrera, really making a good position of these super soft tyres. Under investigation, as you can expect. Odvin is quite close to Underhill as well. So DRS train beginning to form slightly, as we sort of expected with these big DRS zones. Obviously at Sydney we had one big DRS zone, but not really any others. But this one has 3 DRS zones, so it promotes a lot of overtaking, but a lot of potential obviously for a DRS train as well. So Evans again setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, really maximising this. This is a stellar performance, and obviously this won't be Craig's first rodeo. Has won a couple of races in the AIC so far. Martin responds with his own lap of 124. Craig has won a few races. I think Season 2, if memory serves, was his last victory in DTM, so a little bit different, but he is a proven race winner, so he has that experience, Craig. And like I said, at the moment, there's such a big field spread because of the different compounds of tyres. We have some guys running as we get a penalty coming through. This will be interesting. Who is this for? This is for 5-place grid penalty then for Underhill, as we sort of expected. So it was a bit of a silly mistake. Obviously the stewards don't deem it enough to be, you know, a full qualifying ban, but certainly a grid penalty, Craig, against Vrazilov, making a great move. Townend not too happy about that. He's trying to fight it around the outside, but has to concede the place. Vrazilov on the charge.
Yeah, he's on the charge, and I think that's a very justified penalty for Underhill. I'd say he's maybe lucky to only get 5 places there, but he's got to make the most of it now and get a good result here to maximise his points, and he'll be a little bit further down the order in the previous races. We've got another penalty notification coming up here. We'll have a see what that's for. 5 place grid penalty for Martin for causing a collision. You might have to correct me on which one that was, because there's been a fair few. But as we see Toby Byrne and Marcus Eisen following on, trying to get that position back from Razilov. Just want to bring your attention back to the front. Although Evans was setting fast laps, he wasn't completely dropping Carrero though, so pace-wise, he's still there. Both of them, however, are dropping Underhill, who is now under pressure from Osborne, and I think it's just a matter of time now before he makes a move on these hard tyres, which seem to be coming into their own. We're only on lap 6, but I'm wondering if the hard tyres are now gone past the super softs for pace as the degradation starts to come into play.
Yeah, definitely. We saw this in Sydney to a lesser extent because of the nighttime temperatures, didn't we? But there is a point where them supers do just drop, and they drop like a stone. So you really want to get off them as soon as that begins. And we can see Carrera now within DRS of Evans, so I can imagine that's not too far away for either of the Northern Lights cars. Just to go back to the Martin incident, I believe, Craig, he was the car that caused the initial contact with Tom McDonnell, which is what subsequented in that huge pile-up behind. And I think, from what I can remember, it was a very similar incident to that of Underhill. So Evans does get the call then, Craig. Box, and like we said, those tyres are going. What else is going is Olav Odven down the inside of the second NLR car, and they're stacking the cars at Northern Lights. Oh wow, he needs to get out of the way because that's the line to get into the pit lane, and both Northern Lights in. And like we said, Craig, once their tyres start going, they go fast. So Northern Lights were deciding they'd rather get off them sooner rather than later.
Yeah, definitely. I was just thinking that myself. The ideal strategy would be put on the hards now and see if we can go to the end. We can see with Odvin that the hard tyres seem to be coming into their own now, so if the stack pays off, they could be in a very, very good position towards the end of this race, but we'll just have to wait and see what strategy they implement. As we're looking at Pavir now, he's carried on the super soft tyres. I think Carrero's on the mediums, so he was closing in on Evans at the front, so his strategy seems to be stretching just a little bit longer now. We've got all the cars, what's that there, it's the top 12 cars, top 10 cars, all on the same camera shot there, minus the leaders, so there is a lot still to play for in those top 10, and with Martin setting the fastest lap, it just shows that not necessarily the cars at the front are the quickest.
Yeah, and obviously DRS very powerful this season. We saw that at Sydney as well, that combined with the tow and the DRS, it's very, very powerful, so it can help your lap times if you are in that DRS train, which of course Evans will not have been because he was so far ahead, so that is something to consider as well. Yeah, Carrera's strategy now, I'm assuming, is to get the most out of these medium compounded tyres whilst he has the free air then. So we can see Ed Cantwell looking like he's got a very good run on Andrew Pavia, looking to the inside, and again Pavia on them super soft. I don't think there'll be much he can do. Cantwell down the inside, clips the apex nicely and shuts the door. Andrew gets all squirrely in the background as he's forced off his line, and I'm assuming he's going to pit as well, and he is. So great move from Cantwell, the man who was out in lap 1 along with Evans and other people, so shows how much a difference a week makes. The race winner from last week is out. The people who were out on lap 1 are in a great position this race, so anything can happen in the AIC, and it usually does, to quote Murray Walker. But yeah, I'm assuming now it's the time Carrera gets the most out of his tyres that he can on these soft compounds, whilst other guys get to work in closing that with an undercut. So looking back through the field, and oh no, who's that? Is that Craig Evans? That's our formal race leader. He's in the gravel. What has happened to Evans? Something's coming through on the radio. He's not happy. He's in the gravel, and yeah, someone's getting the flak. So I'm assuming contact somewhere, Craig. I don't think he'd be saying that about himself, surely. So what's happened? He's out.
Yep. I was just about to say, if you can keep out of trouble, stay away from traffic, and we can check the lap times and see how these tyres are coping. But that's not happening. The car we got to look at now is Underhill, basically, to see what's happening pace-wise there. But there's clearly been some sort of contact with one of, I'm going to say a back marker, although it was for position, someone that hasn't pitted yet, as Evans was coming through the field. But Underhill is making light work of this traffic at the moment, by the looks of things, and it's another set of super softs he's put on, so he's gone for the same tyres again, even though looking at the laps of the race, and when he pitted, they're not going to last, or if they do last, it'll be very, very slow at the end. But at the moment, he's making the most of it, as we're riding on board here with Evans, as he's chasing down one of the cars ahead. I can't quite tell who that is, Toby.
Looks like from the helmet, I think that's Spencer. So up the inside we go. Obviously this is for position, and he gets a bit of wheel spin on the exit, and he's just T-burned. He's forced across the circuit. I'd love to see another angle of that, Craig. That just looked like he was T-burned.
Yeah, you'd expect everyone's got right up the inside, and Spencer's out wide. You'd expect him to just give up this position, even though they're not battling in the race here. And yeah, he's just come across him. So he's going into the pits as well. So there you go. You just got to concede that, don't you? You don't fight it because you're risking being in trouble, and barely made the pit there.
Yeah, what was going on there? So we have another replay as well. So something else has happened further up. Who's this? That's Lennon and Wood getting into it, and whoa, around we go. Helped around by Wood. That's a bit of NASCAR driving going on there, Craig.
Pit manoeuvres here, left, right, centre. He just didn't get out the throttle. Obviously, Lennon's made a mistake. He thought the door was open, it wasn't. And you just get out the throttle there, and both of you carry on your way. And Lennon's coming across almost an unsafe rejoin or unsafe exit from the circuit there. Is he right in the head? Well, I think we know the answer to that one, and he's stuck in the gravel. So that looks like another retirement, Toby. This is where we're losing cars quite quickly here. We've lost more cars than we've had laps.
Halfway through the race, halfway through the grid. Let's hope this isn't a race of attrition, but wow, we thought Sydney was crazy. What a load of incidents have happened as multiple cars come flying into pit lane. Where does this leave us for strategy then? So Evans out, Carrera's still continuing on the medium compounded tyres. They've got a lot longer than we thought we would. Cantwell looking like he's in a really good position as well, as he's closing in on Odvan on the same compounded tyre, by the way. So really good pace from Team Disconnect, because Kevin Jacobs, I think, what, did he qualify like P16? He's up in P4 as well. So fantastic pace from those guys while everyone else is pitting. The hard tyre definitely looking like the favourable one today. And I think, like you say, yeah, Underhill surely then is the man we've got to consider for the next person. So obviously we get some under investigations going on as Ed Cantwell all over the back of Olav Odvan, sorry. So this will be a battle bid position, same strategy, and it just looks like Cantwell has the pace, doesn't it? So into the next hairpin we go. DRS zone will follow, and Odvan very slow out of that corner. That's going to allow Cantwell to look to the outside. Carrera is going to pit, so we'll see where the strategy comes to a head. And a little bit of a lock-up for the Norwegian as well. Ed all over the back of him, but goes wide in avoiding. That's why we do it, Josh Wood. DRS down the back straight. Is he going to be able to do anything this time? I don't think so. A bit too far back, but Carrera win this lap, Craig.
Yeah, I think that's. We'll have a look at where Carrera comes out in
it's a fresh set of hearts for Carrero. I almost feel robbed now Evans is out, also for anyone wanting to get their tin foil hat out. It was actually Jonathan's teammate Spencer who secured this strategy for him. Try that one on for size.
So live from the pit lane there. Did you catch more of that than I did, Toby?
Yeah, so I think it was just Ted confirming to us it is a fresh set of hards for Carrera, and obviously it was Carrera's teammate Spencer who secured that strategy for him.
Well, just before we got that message from the pit lane there, as we've got more cars off here, we've got Peterson there, and we can't quite tell if that's Byrne, that's off again. Another poor race for him at the moment. What's happened here? That was poor from Chris. But he can carry on, that's good. So Byrne is blaming the other driver there. It'll be interesting to get a replay of that and see what's happening. I don't think Peterson is going anywhere anytime soon by the looks of things. And we've got a notification here for a penalty coming someone's way. It could be anyone at this race at the moment. Qualifying ban for car 16 Spencer causing a collision, and I think that's fair as we watch Cantwell now battling with Odvan for what is the race lead at the moment, depending on their strategy. And what I was going to say earlier was, I think what's benefiting Cantwell here is the fact he's not really had to overtake anyone or had to battle so far this race to our knowledge, so his tyres should have a little more life in them, and that's why he's hassling Odvan more than the other way around. Olav's had to do a few manoeuvres himself as he gets so close, Cantwell there to the back of him, where we've seen a few cars come together already, and they're both in the pits, so it's now down to a battle of the teams as we get another penalty notification coming up.
So 5 place grid penalty for Wood. That'll be for the help around for Gareth Lennon. Jacobs into the pits as well. So this man on them hard compounded tyres resumes the lead. So medium to hard for Carrera. Obviously JSR learning, I think, from Sydney just how high the tyre wear is, and they're not even bothering with the super soft tyre, Craig. So that will bode very interesting to see what happens with James Underhill, who is of course on the super soft compounded tyre. And you've got to imagine by now, Craig, they're past their best. So very much looking like it's in Carrero's court. The man, obviously a big fan of Japanese culture. We get another replay here. So this is what happened between Byrne and Pettersson. Is it similar to the Evans incident? Down the inside. Tight line gives him a bit of wheel spin, and they're just stuck together. I'm assuming one's pitting, one's not. They're stuck together. Into the gravel they go. And yeah,
that's the only word for it. It's hard to see that from another angle. Neither of them wanted to concede, basically. That was it. Both thought they had the rights to it. Obviously Byrne was unaware of where Pettersson was going, and Pettersson, the one that's going on the pit lane, should know that that's not the normal racing line. You only pit once, and that's a tough one. So I wouldn't like to be the stewards making the decision there and argue with both of those drivers and both of those teams. And I think, speaking of strategy, I think Carrero, we're talking about it there, I think he's got this absolutely nailed on. He's made the right calls at the right time. I think Underhill going on to the Super Softs again was the wrong call. He only made the last 7 laps, so 7 plus 7 doesn't get you to 16. So we'll see what happens and how you can hang on. 5th place just shows that he's not where he wanted to be. Maybe got caught in traffic, I don't know, but Carrero seems to have this absolutely nailed. There's a car off there. There's 2 cars off there. Previer and what was the other one? Well, the Maka Motorsports, that's going to be Tom McDonald. That's the only other one that's left. What has happened with them two?
that is a disastrous result for Maka Motorsport. Both cars out, and we'll get a replay immediately. I don't think we're going to have time for much live action this race with the amount of replays we're looking at. So here we go, with Tom McDonald, we're following Pavia, we're quite far away, and again, very similar to Underhill. And I'm wondering, is it just that bit easier to snatch a break under the dirty air of these cars into that corner, Craig? Both of them are stuck, both of them are out, so pretty poor from Tom there, very similar to that of Underhill earlier on, and it was essentially a carbon copy, so disastrous. And we're getting no further action, Craig. Who's this going to be for? I can't imagine it without one. It's Pettersson and Byrne, so like you say, nobody wanting to concede position, so nobody gets the sticky end of the stick, Craig.
Yeah, I think it's just a stern talking to him on both parts to be more aware in the future. They didn't do each other any favours there, as we've got under investigation now. I'm assuming that's just for the recent incident that we've had, McDonald and Pavia. I think, like you say carbon copy, I think it was identical. There was two cars that McDonald was following, just as Underhill was, and I think two lots of dirty air just did not do either driver any favour, and in this case McDonald into the back of Pavia. So yeah, it's not looking good for it's looking for the stewards. They're definitely earning their paycheck today. And another man that's doing it is Carrero, and we've got Danny Diaz just coming up behind Jacobs here, looking to make a move. He's on the super soft tyres. I'm not too sure when he last stopped, so I don't know how fresh these are. Toby Byrne, the fastest lap of the race, he's a 10th quicker than Martin's lap previously. He's down 11th, and hopefully going to push on and get to the points after his traumatic experiences so far today.
Yeah, very interesting. It's been a wild race, and what I think is going to be the most surprising to me is we see Odven all over the back of Martin. So Odven has pitted for the first time off them hard combat tyres, and he's going to try use up those fresh super softs to the end of the race, and a penalty comes through. You've got to assume this is going to be for Tom McDonald. I imagine a carbon copy incident rewards a carbon copy penalty, a 5-place grid penalty for the next race. And what I was about to say, Craig, is what makes me wonder is this is going to be one crazy grid next time out in South Korea at Evelyn Speedway, because there's going to be so many penalties. Could it put some people that were not used to seeing up at the front up there? And obviously as the faster cars come through, it will cause some chaos, I'm sure, as we've seen today, so stay tuned for that one. But Odven on the fresh super soft compounded tyres is all the way down in 9th. Now, for those who haven't pitted, Craig, we've got Vrazilov hasn't pitted, Townend hasn't pitted, Cantwell hasn't pitted, Jacobs hasn't pitted, and I don't think Diaz has either. So Odven in a net position, but with 3 laps to go, do you think some of these cars will just try stretch it to the end? I mean, Odven really can't afford to hang around here.
I was actually going to say almost the opposite. I think, as we see Odven kind of come up the inside here now of Martin, and I thought he could be the first one to make that stick. Odven and Cantwell came into the pits together. So I don't know what's happened to Odven to be so far down the order. I don't know if he got stuck in traffic, if he had a bad stop. I think he goes all sorts of crisscross under the brakes behind Martin there, and that's lost him a bit of time. So yeah, I don't know what's happened to Odven here. He was net podium, as you say, and it's just gone away from him as he goes deep into that corner there, chasing Martin. But yeah, it'll be interesting at the next round seeing, you say faster cars. I don't think people have done enough laps for us to know if he's the fastest driver yet in this series. There's been a lot of unfortunate accidents, so it will be very interesting to see who can do what in the next one. But at the moment, Carrero's looking the most solid. Cantwell's had a good race, and as you say, strategy-wise, We've got second and third still to stop, and it'll be interesting to see where they come out. Jacobs on the back of Underhill now. I am pretty confident Underhill's tyres will be asking for mercy, because he's been out just as many laps now as he was in the first stint. He's got 2 cars behind him, and then another 2 cars not far behind that, so if he's not careful, we could see Underhill dropping out of the points in the last 2 laps as he's almost getting dropped out of 5th place by Jacobs, who's come up the inside after nudging him, and Underhill's in the pits. And yeah, that's not surprising, and he's definitely going to be out of the points here after that. Strong pace at the start, but strategy isn't the one for him today.
Yeah, and I'm surprised not more drivers have learned from this from Sydney, because this is exactly what happened. It was Byrne and Pavia who tried this strategy in Sydney in cooler temperatures, where you would expect, as we see Ogden again on the assault on Martin, but Martin doing a great job at defending. But we saw again this, didn't we, in Sydney with the cooler temperatures. It didn't work then, so why they thought it would work in the middle of the day in Japan at circuit, which arguably has probably more tyre wear than Sydney, to be fair. So very interesting. Odvan still can't get past Martin. Hard compound of tyres, Craig, look phenomenal, especially on the SimStaff car, but we're seeing it really work for Cantwell and Jacobs as well, aren't we? So I think it was the right tyre to be on today, as we can see Townend and Vrazilov getting very close together, both of these on super softs, and again still yet to pit, so they're getting reeled in hand over fist by Cantwell. And you would assume if Underhill can't make them work, then neither can these two, but these two must have pitted to get this far, but I just can't recall it. So we'll see these two come into the penultimate corner as we head to the chicane. Are any of them going to pit? And they're not, so could these be our first 2 Supersoft runners trying to go to the end? They're not going to hold off Cantwell, but a podium could be on the cards for one of these, Craig.
Yeah, definitely. They've all they've got to do is look after them. Those two have been battling quite a bit, so I'm surprised the tyres are lasting as they are, as we look at Cantwell trying to make a move up the inside now. That line's just not worked for them. It seems there's a little bit more grip around the outside, and they're all making it stick. And I don't think the super soft tyre is a bad tyre to have. We saw Evans at the start doing well with it. Underhill did well with it at the start, and even when he came out of the pits, he was making some places. I think it just needed a combination strategy. Carrero's going to argue otherwise, because he's just flying away at the front on 2 sets of hards. But I think having a contact there, Cantwell and Townsend, I think the super softs really are. He's run wide and they come together because of that. And Cantwell's round the outside now. It's not going to work there. But he's got the inside for the next set, and it's just not making it stick. He's getting too much curb, and I think some of the drivers just need to be a little bit more committed with their moves, especially looking at Ogden earlier on the hard tyres with Martin. He just needed to commit to a move and go for it, and then run away. And he's passed now, looking at the standings on the left hand side, and Cantwell is now in the same position with the opposite set of tyres. He's on the slower tyre, the hard, but they've got much more life in them, and I'd argue much more pace as well. And he's just got to commit to a move, as we're seeing the DRS now closing in, and he just doesn't want to commit to it, and that's what they need to do, is just commit, as Henderson was a little bit wide.
I wonder if Cantwell thinks he's moving to the pits, and yes, he is correct. So penultimate lap, they can't make him last, Craig. I'm guessing there's a high risk of a puncture if they continue any further. So, wow, what a result this could be for Team Disconnect. The team that scored no points last time out suddenly find themselves on a double podium. And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure we didn't see a double podium out in Sydney. So this will be the first double podium of this season. So great result. Obvin now finds himself up in 4th. That's a bit more representative of the race he's done today. Byrne up into 6th. What could have been if he didn't get into the accident with Petterson, and Vrazilov feeds back out into 7, so a great result again for SimStaff, who failed to score any points also last weekend. So Carrero leads on the final lap of the Japanese Grand Prix. We can see Josh Wood looking to do something about Vrazilov, capitalising on them cold tyres. He goes on the medium, so up the inside. We haven't seen him move into that corner. We've seen it under DRS, but there we go. But that's going to give DRS actually back to Vrazilov, who's going to just be able to send it back down the inside and reclaim it. Izzy is on the inside. It's very tight, nothing doing, but now Townend's right there as well. Vrazilov does actually get a little bit of a better exit, but he's cut off by Wood. So through to the S-Bend section we go. This is a 3-horse race for P7. Townend there, fresh tyres. Vrazilov there, fresh tyres, and Wood a little bit older but a little bit warmer. And Carrero then rounds out what has been a perfect day in the office. Winfield JSR back on the podium. Jonathan Carrero's first ever AIC victory. 2 from 2 for new winners this season. Across the line, what a victory. Handled everything he needed to do, kept his cool, kept to his strategy when everyone else was losing their head. Great result from the American. A team disconnect 2-3, and we'll see this coming up to the penultimate corner. It goes right down to the wire. Vrazalov looking to the inside, nothing doing on this occasion. A little bit of a lock-up. Is that going to give any opportunity behind? I don't think so. These three will follow uniform through. What a race from these three. Wood holds on with them older tyres, just a little bit too late, I think, for the hard runners at the end there. But what a race, Craig.
What a race indeed, and congratulations to Carrero. I don't think we've seen him after turn 1, lap 1, and you know what, that's the best kind of race you want. Drama free, kept it going, clean strategy, kept his nose clean, no issues with traffic, and that's just what you need. And yeah, he's picked up the win, and the race has just produced battles all the way through, a little bit of carnage, and almost 3 wide across the line at the very end there. So fantastic race all round, and we're just going to see if Carrero can carry on that pace into the next round. And Underhill pipping Byrne at the very end there to get the fastest lap of the race, just to salvage something from his poor strategy day.
Doubling his points then with that fastest lap. So there is your race results. Jonathan Carrero takes the victory for Winfield JSR. A double podium for Team Disconnect. It's a fantastic day in the office. Double points for Sim staff as well, honourable mention, and another stellar performance from Olav Odven. Finished P3 last time, P4 this time. Could consistency be the key to a championship challenge this year? Byrne picks up P6, Wood P7, holding off Vrazalov and Townend behind. Like you mentioned, James Underhill doubling his points with that fastest lap in P10. Douglas Anderson this time is the man who just misses out. ART failing to score any points this race, and that's interesting because I believe they were one of the only teams last race who finished both teams in the points. So again, just goes to show, Craig, how much can change in a week. It's really crazy.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's such a competitive field as well, so you've got to make the most of it. You've got to keep your nose clean and stay out of trouble. Otherwise, the tail's just going to flip, and deservedly so for some of these drivers. The ones that have performed well today have performed fantastically well. As you can see, the rest of the standings here, but Danny Diaz coming home in 12th, Spencer 13th, McDonald I think was the last car running in 14th, and from Kavir down to Blum in 22nd, all retired. So Peterson, Evans, Lennon, McDonald, Campagnaro, McAllister, last week's winner, having a bad day in the office. So those guys, I'm going to want to forget about this one and look forward to the next one, and hopefully kickstart their season once again, especially in McAllister's case.
100%, and it'll be interesting to see these are your championship standings lines up. Then Jonathan Guerrero takes the lead of the championship with a 30-point buffer, 4 points to Olav Odven. We mentioned his consistency will reward him. It's rewarded him with P2 in the championship. Colin obviously holds on to that victory in Sydney, gives him a 25 point, so he's still very much there. Underhill P20 with 20 points in P4. Cantwell and Jacobs propel themselves into the conversation. Marcus Townend just behind them as well. And then you have Diaz, Josh Martin and Douglas Anderson rounding out your top 10. So we still have a very competitive championship, as we can see all the way down. Byrne only actually 2 points behind Anderson, and then it's 2 points to Wood, 2 points to Vrazalov, who's tied on points with Tom McDonald, 2 points to Craig McDonald and Andrew Pavia, and Philip Blum on a point apiece. So the only team then this season remaining to score points is that of Nemesis Racing Team, and ironically the man who took pole position is one of the only drivers left to score points this season, Craig. Team standings up on your screen now. Team Disconnect with that phenomenal result take the lead at the Teams Championship, and Jonathan with his points alone puts JSR in P2.
Yeah, it just goes to show you it's a proper team effort at the end of the day, isn't it? Like the teams that have had 2 drivers scoring the points are the ones leading the way, and that's the way it's got to be. Everyone's got to do their part to it. Obviously there's some dramas that happened today and last week, so it's not always the down to the driver not performing, but yeah, you've got to keep your nose clean and keep the points coming in for the team, and that's what's happened here. So we've got battles hotting up all over the field here. There's only 5 points separating the top 2 in the team's championship, and again 4 and 5 points in the driver's championship, so there's a lot of battles happening and a long way to go still as well.
It has been a fantastic Grand Prix. Next time, join us out. We head over to our final Asian leg of the championship in South Korea, the Evelyn Speedway, featured on Evelyn Theme Park. It's going to be another fantastic crazy race, especially with all the grid penalties we handed out today. Make sure you do not miss it. Once again, thank you so much to Craig. I've been Toby, this has been Craig Evans, and until then, we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style. Style.